to do, but we'll find out.
As we start the second half of this season, the challenge is on to Red Bull, the chase is on to Red Bull, and McLaren are very much the team that are doing the chasing to Red Bull in terms of the championship standings. 199 points in the last 7 Grand Prix weekends. The top scorers in the last 7 Grand Prix weekends, looking at the moment to take a maximum haul of 44 points from this race. Although not everything is going completely smoothly, and Oscar Piastri would not wanted to have been any more into that gravel than he found himself. Anthony, to you.
Just a thought on that chat between Norris and Piastri. Norris is going to make sure he makes this as hard work, as hard a decision for McLaren as possible. The more he pulls away from his teammate, I feel the harder that decision will be from the team to tell him to back off all that ground to let his teammate pass. This is really important for Piastri right now to drive the stint of his life to try and stay with his teammate.
But also, Martin, not to push too hard and then fall away on his pace right at the end. Race leader, Max Verstappen, pits. Through goes Lando Norris, through goes Oscar Piastri, through goes Lewis Hamilton, and through goes Charles Leclerc. And that's a 2.3 second stop for Max Verstappen, which is half a second shorter than it was for both Hamilton and for Leclerc at their second stops. He's come back out in 5th place. Doesn't like this strategy, isn't happy with what he's been asked to do. But he's closed down gaps in the past, and he's got now, on lap 50, 20 or so laps to get himself back into the podium standings. It's possible.
It is. We've got a 5-horse race. They've sort of dropped sights a little bit. Perez is now doing fastest lap of the Grand Prix by a country mile. And they've finally managed to get Russell and Perez into some clear air after the pit stop ahead of Tsunoda, Alonso, Ricciardo and Stroll. So now they can press on in the Mercedes and the Red Bull respectively.
Right, so Ted Kravitz, let's head down to you.
Not sure Lewis is really liking this strategy. He's been on the radio saying, I think we stopped a bit early. And he's on the medium, of course, we know. Everybody else on the... sorry, he's on the hard, as we know. Everyone else on the medium. Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen. All right, he's held off Leclerc's Hamilton, but yeah, not really able at the moment. And I think he's worried that he's not going to be able to be a threat to the McLarens at all, despite McLaren's worries about him potentially undercutting them.
Out of interest, Martin, do you reckon there's anyone, apart from Charles Leclerc, who's happy with their strategy in the top 5 of the move?
Do seem a grumpy bunch today, don't you? But I think Perez is going to clear Russell with this. Russell's got to stop again, yeah. And Perez is flying along nicely, 15 seconds behind Russell, which is less than a pit stop, of course. So Perez then looks like...
Okay, Oscar. So once you get to Lando, we will swap position, but we want to avoid Lando having to give up a lot of race time.
He's got to get there, hasn't he? He's got to get there.
Yeah, he has.
3.8 behind now is Piastri.
What was that? Once you get to Lando? Not when you get to Lando, once you get to Lando. So, you know, you've got to get there first. And just, you say Russell's got to stop again. He's run hard and he's on medium.
Yeah, you're right, he doesn't have to stop, does he?
Yeah, to me, that could still be in the balance. He doesn't have to, but he might need to.
Yeah. But Perez's pace, having stopped for a second time, is such anyway that he will catch and pass Russell, whether Russell pits or not.
Max Verstappen's pace is pretty decent on this lap, his first lap since he pitted. Verstappen is catching Charles Leclerc quite nicely, as we can watch Hamilton and Leclerc down the main straight, and Oscar Piastri just heading into turn 1.
20.9 for Max Verstappen, a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. The problem Piastri has got is as soon as he gets within a couple of seconds of his teammate, he'll start getting the turbulent air, car sliding around a little bit more, hurting his tyre. So it's definitely advantage Norris.
Got to say though, at this pace, there is plenty of time for Max Verstappen to get himself right on the tail of whichever of the two McLarens is running second, which is why they can ill afford to be giving up any time. There's a second place on the cards here for Max Verstappen, and if McLaren get it wrong, swapping it around, there could be a first place on the cards for Verstappen, and I'm sure that's something that in the back of their minds on the McLaren pit wall they'll be thinking. It'd be hard done by, it would be very unfair on Oscar Piastri to lose this win but Verstappen's pace might force them to keep it 1 and 2 as it stands currently.
Anthony's got news at Sky Race Control.
Yeah, so Verstappen's tyre delta is 9 laps now to Hamilton. It's 5 laps before in the first round, on the first stint. Now it's 9 laps. I believe that's enough of a tyre delta, a difference, to get that overtake done.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it's mediums to hards as well. It's the hard tyre for Lewis Hamilton. The teams commit early to their strategy in terms of the tyres they give back after the practice sessions. Mercedes wanted the hards for the race.
Lando, radio check, please. Yes, loud and clear. Okay, save the tyres in turn 4 and turn 11 then, please.
So he hadn't responded. He's been told to save turn 4 again. And they're like, are you actually hearing us? And he's like, of course I am. But clearly pushing like crazy out there, and he's being told that's where you're damaging your tyres. Last time around, we actually took 0.6 of a second out of Norris, but Norris is in traffic.
Yeah, he's finding himself behind Esteban Ocon currently, going through turn 9. Oscar Piastri is behind Logan Sargent. Did you ever experience moments of temporary deafness when the team were telling you something you didn't want to hear?
I didn't always have a radio when I was a Formula 1 driver, to be honest, in the early days, let alone anybody to swear at, apart from myself.
So look, Lewis Hamilton, 12 laps on the hard. Charles Leclerc, 12 laps on the medium. There's the big difference. Verstappen, 3 laps on the medium.
Well, that's some gentle introduction.
No, mate, don't give me that. Now, you guys give me the strategy, okay? I'm trying to rescue myself.
No. So he's been told to go out and not take too much out of the tyres, and he's obviously decided to ignore that. And Gianpiero Lambiase there is taking quite a bit of stick today, isn't he?
Yeah,
from his World Championship leading driver, Max. You know, comes into this race with over 3 races worth of points in his pocket. Advantage.
I don't want to sound too critical, but Max Verstappen is sounding like a man who stayed up late last night doing a sim race, which he did, and then got up early this morning to do a sim race, which he did, rather than getting a good night's sleep in Budapest, which, by the sounds of it, he could probably have done with. 2.2 seconds, George Russell has stopped again. Very neat pit stop from the Mercedes crew, and we're watching from the rear of Charles Leclerc's Ferrari, Max Verstappen trying to chase him down. We've seen already in this race how difficult it is to get some overtakes done, especially in this part of the track. But surely Verstappen's fresher tyres will get him past Leclerc in a moment. We'll see. Ted Kravitz, down to you.
Just picking up a nice stop for George Russell onto the hard tyre, because that's the only new one they had left. So Mercedes also bucking the trend with George Russell, even though we've only got, what have we got, 20 laps to go, Crofty? No, 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a great tyre only to do for 16 laps, but hey, at least he can go and get the most out of them on the opening laps with Verstappen. Crofty, can I stick up for the insomniacs amongst us?
Hang on, you can in 2 seconds. Max Verstappen's got DRS. Charles Leclerc's looking in his left wing mirror to see where Verstappen is. Verstappen thinks about a move into turn 1. That's not going to happen. Now he's going to try and get the move done into turn 2. Has Leclerc got enough of an advantage? We can watch from the rear now into that second corner to stay ahead. Looks to me like he has, Martin.
Yeah, you wonder if Lewis wouldn't be better just backing up a little bit and giving Leclerc the DRS as they head up towards turn 4. You want to get your insomniacs line away, Tedos?
Only that the last time Max did 24 hours with his virtual team, Redline Racing, he won the Grand Prix. So yeah, he's well used to it, and some of us don't need too much sleep.
Yeah, well, I'll counter that.
We need you to save more tyres, please, and we do want to let Oscar through.
We should have boxed him first then, surely, no?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it does. For me, maybe.
He is talking about the championship there, not the current race in isolation.
Yeah, well, that's not a given then, is it? That Lando is going to, he wants to discuss that, he wants to argue that point. He's 3.5 seconds ahead on the screen in front of you. And now and he just lost 3. So it's sort of ebbing and flowing between Norris and Piastri. There's nothing between them.
Here comes Verstappen again. He's closer this time around. Charles Leclerc is in a little bit of danger, but manages once again to stay ahead comfortably into turn 1, and then gets a really good traction on the exit. manages to stay ahead into turn 2 as well. Not easy for me to say. I'm just going to counter Ted's line. Max Verstappen, last time he was doing sim racing and went on to win a Grand Prix, was in a car that was way ahead of the field. That is not the case here this weekend. This Red Bull is not the fastest car on the track. He hasn't got that car margin that he used to have.
Well, Russell is the fastest man on the track at the moment at 120.3. He'll set about, oh dear, that's not the right place to be. Too much curb there, but got away with it. And yeah, so Russell then is setting off after Perez, who has indeed got ahead of him, but Russell's coming back with a vengeance. I'll tell you what would bring Perez and Russell into this. Would be a safety car now.
Yeah, just a bit.
Bringing them, and Sainz for that matter, would bring them right back into the action.
I think it would absolutely transform this race. On board with Charles Leclerc, he's not going to get any assistance from Lewis Hamilton, but he might do from the car in front of him, which is a back marker, and it's one of the Saubers. Now, he hasn't got DRS to try and lap him, lap him, but there goes Verstappen. We didn't see it off board, we didn't see how Verstappen was gaining, but there goes Verstappen into turn 1. Charles Leclerc needed a bit of DRS to try and stay ahead there. It didn't happen. Max Verstappen has now got his man, moves up into 4th place.
Yeah, I think he'll drop the Ferrari like a hot potato now and set off after Lewis Hamilton.
And Lando, we still think you're using the tyres too much. Turn 4, turn 11, and the rear's exit, turn 6, turn 9. Oscar's 3.5. I know you'll do the right thing.
Yeah, but it's come down from 3.8, it's now 3.2. I know you'll do the right thing. That's a call from the team to do the team thing. But it's not happening very quickly, and I'm sure they're getting a bit twitchy at McLaren as to whether it's going to happen or not. And as we watch Max Verstappen and his move there on Charles Leclerc, just going to put into your mind, Martin, Oscar Piastri's manager, Mark Webber, knows a thing or two about team orders not being followed through. Multi-21, anybody?
Absolutely. Yeah. Remember doing the podium interviews that day, Multi-21 in Malaysia.
Frostiest day in Kuala Lumpur ever.
As the great Murray Walker would say, you can cut the atmosphere with a cricket stump.
Yeah. It's evidence right from the moment the driver's got out of the car what Mark Webber thought about that. There's Lando Norris. The Williams of Alex Albon down in 14th, and there is Oscar Piastri. Take the human side out of this, Martin, and think of it strategically for the championship. If you're Andrea Stella on the pit wall, what would you want to see happen?
And Lando, Hiroshi is stressed about the tyre energies.
And that sounds to me like a team that are trying to say, Lando, we're finding another reason why you need to slow down here.
No, a blind glace or something, Lando will be saying in a minute. So, yeah, I don't know, this is going to be very interesting. It will be a major issue for McLaren if these places are not swapped round, that they'll have to manage down, because that will be a breach of trust that they've been building up, haven't they, in the team?
Yeah.
And they did pit him first. But let's see how it plays out.
It's the sort of incident that either strengthens or ruins a teammate relationship. Because if you're Oscar Piastri, who has been very compliant in his, how many, 35 races so far in his Formula One career, where often, well not often, on occasion he's had to do the team thing and he's put up with it, made no fuss.
They both have.
Yeah?
To be fair, both McLaren drivers, when told to swap places through the last year and a half, they've done it. They've both done it as they've been building. But all of a sudden, they're looking at a 1-2, and that's a different deal. And Lando will be saying, look, I'm the 1 second in the World Championship. I'm taking points out of Max Verstappen today.
Turn 4, turn 11. It's going to get boring.
I don't think Lando Norris cares about that, quite frankly. He could get as boring as he wants. He's gone a little bit tone deaf to that particular conversation. Last 1-2 from McLaren, of course, Monza 2021. It was Lando Norris that was behind Daniel Ricciardo, and Lando Norris accepted that situation. However, today's a different story. Piastri's led this race through getting past his teammate into turn 1, getting a better start. He's controlled the race in the way that his team would have expected. By one moment, Martin, where he went off the track at turn 11, he hasn't done anything wrong.
dipped a tyre in it, turn 12 to do as well. We saw
Yeah.
that, but Verstappen's not really caught up to the back of Hamilton quite as fast as I thought he would do. The top four are all in the low 1:22s. Ted.
I'm just so keenly watching the McLaren pit wall. Andrea Stella's pressing lots of the talkback buttons on his panel. He actually shared a joke with one of his fellow engineers a second ago, but I would not want to be on the wrong side of Andrea Stella. He's a lovely chap, very mild-mannered, but I bet he could give you an absolute pasting if he wanted to, Crofty. Just to tell you who Hiroshi is, it's the McLaren Director of Race Engineering, Hiroshi Imai. He used to be a tyre engineer himself, so he knows how delicate these tyres are. But lots of discussions going on in the McLaren pit wall. I'm sure Andrea Stella, if he has to intervene personally, he will. But, well, it's up to Lando in the end.
And knowing Andrea Stella as I do, he sees his role as team principal to observe and to monitor rather than to tell people how to do their jobs. But, as I'm sure Christian Horner has done in the past, there comes a time when you, as a team principal, do have to step in. And we've seen it. Christian Horner, Ross Brawn over the years as well have made that comment when they need to make it. You must do this now.
Felipe Fernando is faster than you. Hockenheim.
Yeah, I had to do the interviews that day as well. About as frosty as it was in Kuala Lumpur, I must admit. Right, Lewis Hamilton behind the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. Behind him, here comes Max Verstappen.
Okay, Lando, 10 laps to go. We think both cars are using their tyres too much. Just remember every single Sunday morning meeting we have.
And now they're getting to the emotions here. You want this guy to be your teammate. You need to move over and let him past. Otherwise, you're going to have to look him squarely in the eye when you've cost him victory. That's the message behind that radio.
Piastri just lost another 0.8 of a second, lapping Hulkenberg.
Yeah, tell him to catch up then, please.
Would Max Verstappen move over? Would Lewis Hamilton move over? Would Fernando Alonso move over? I just mentioned, because they are the three greats, as it were, in this race. They're the ones with the experience, the race-winning experience. Is this where Lando Norris is coming of age and saying, no, I'm your number one here. I'm the one that's chasing down Max in the championship. You need to give me this victory because it's your best chance of doing something about Max's lead.
Yeah, and when Sebastian Vettel ignored all of this, the team seemed to love him a little bit more back in the day when he was winning 4 straight World Championships.
And I think the 1-2 is not in doubt in normal conditions now for McLaren. The 1-2-3 still up for grabs though in terms of the third place of Lewis Hamilton. Still holding on to that third spot on what will be a 200th career podium, but Max Verstappen is going to try and get him into turn 2 and snatch that podium position away from him. Verstappen tries to go round the outside. He's going the long way round. He's got just enough room to stay on the track. Lewis Hamilton stays ahead and Verstappen loses just a bit of ground as he gets his foot down out of turn 2.
And lit the rear tyres up as well. He's very wide, it's dirty out there, and Lewis once again pushing the limits of the driving standard there by running very wide through turn 2.
We saw lap after lap Lewis Hamilton defending against Max Verstappen before their second stop, and once again the undercut worked for Mercedes to keep Lewis ahead of Max Verstappen, but once again Verstappen is coming back at him. And we can see, I think, from the onboard of Verstappen here just how much racing room there was, Martin.
Yeah, so Verstappen's got DRS, that's why he's going alongside. He left the car's width, that's fine. And then...
Did you leave the cars yet?
I think you were behind at the apex, Max.
Yeah,
Okay, whatever.
it's about where your front axle is. When you're going around the outside, your front axle has to be at least level with or ahead of the other driver's mirror, is what the regulations say.
Here we go again then, and you can see Verstappen closing, under braking. He's going to force his way and hits Lewis Hamilton, who braked, watched Verstappen come steaming down the inside and watched Verstappen take himself out of that battle. Now he's been passed by Charles Leclerc as well.
Wow, now we're going to hear a grumpy Max Verstappen, but I think he had to just keep the steering wheel straight to keep slowing the car down. He came in with such speed there. We'll look forward to a replay of that, and Sainz is not far behind him either now. Max Verstappen. He hit the ground so hard that would have not.
Lando, he can't catch you up. You've proved your point, and it really doesn't matter. He's on much bigger size. Manchester, he's doing it.
Lando Norris is not...
I mean, I would have tried to undercut anyway. If I didn't, I would have gone long. Mate, we did the stop sequence in this order for the good of the team.
Yeah, I'm fighting for a championship.
Okay, I'm trying to protect you, mate. I promise, I'm trying to protect you.
This is turning into a discussion over the team radio that McLaren probably do not want. But Lando Norris is not for moving here, and it might take some intervention above. Tom Stallard is, Will Joseph, his race engineer. Meanwhile, this has been noted by race control. Verstappen steaming down the inside. That could have been Verstappen out of this race, and could have been Verstappen injured, because that went a long way up into the air.
Yeah, if that's anybody's fault, that's Max's fault. So there's no recriminations there, because he didn't.
I didn't move the steering, mate. Something like that was Verstappen. He arrived at
Right.
I think there's a penalty coming Max Verstappen's way for causing a collision there. It's been noted, Martin, but I don't see how that isn't causing a collision.
He moved under braking.
I'm not even going to get into a radio fight with the other teams, Max. We'll let the stewards do their thing. It's childish on the radio, childish.
I think there are some words coming behind closed doors at McLaren and at Red Bull for two of their drivers.
Pot and kettle springs to mind. So, yeah, he lost control of his car. So that's as clear as now whether the stewards put that down to a racing incident or a penalty for Verstappen. If he does get a penalty, that'll move him back to P6, it'll be 6 and 7 for Red Bull at that time.
Verstappen's going to lose ground in the championship for the first time this season. He's currently in 5th place. But is Lando Norris taking home 25 points or 18 points? Remember when Lewis Hamilton let Valtteri Bottas through here in Budapest on the very last corner? Might that be something Lando Norris is thinking about after he's proved his point and then done what the team have requested him to do? It would be a very plausible strategy.
It's going to have to be a big lift now on the last lap there, isn't it? 5.8 seconds his lead.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Hamilton continues on then in 3rd place. Leclerc ahead of Verstappen, but Sainz now the challenger to Max Verstappen, who has just driven and sounded irritable and annoyed and furious and just irked throughout this entire race, ever since he was asked to give the place back to Lando Norris from the start. It's 30 degrees air temperature, and at times it seems like it's boiling over in the cockpit somewhat. 6 seconds, by the way, now, the gap, Norris to Piastri.
Yeah, and it's still 47 out on the track as well, and we're gone 4:30 in the afternoon here in Budapest, so the heat is very much still piling in there.
5 laps to go of a very eventful Hungarian Grand Prix. What a way to kickstart the second half of the season. And for McLaren, that 1-2 in the Constructors' Championship battle.
And Lando, there are 5 laps to go. The way to win a championship is not by yourself, it's with the team. You're going to need Oscar, and you're going to need the team.
This is extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
just McLaren are into their absolute glory moment of an easy 1-2 with the fastest car and 2 great drivers, and they're having to go through this.
Well, they're on course at the moment with the 44-point haul.
We'll leave this to Oscar gets.
Finally, we
Understood, Oscar. We're managing it.
Finally, we hear from Oscar Piastri in this debate. Yeah, 44-point haul. Red Bull started 78 points ahead of McLaren. They're going to make a severe dent into the margin here. And on a day that they should be celebrating, as it stands at the moment, there will be a debrief. They'll be smiling in the garage, but there'll be a debrief, Martin, that might be as equally in-depth and, shall we say, problem-solving as they had after Silverstone, when they threw away a potential race victory there. Stewards are going to look at the Verstappen-Hamilton incident and Verstappen for causing a collision after this race. But you could say as well, Martin, you know you've made it as a team and a championship challenger when you're having to sort out issues between your drivers out on track.
It's a nice problem to have, but it is, yeah, they really wish they didn't have it at the moment, and Lando doesn't want to play ball. He wants to make a statement. If he does this, I agree with you, I think it will be on the very last lap to really make his point of, and he said, I would have tried to undercut him, I would have tried to overcut him, I'd have stayed out longer, you know, I caught him up. He had a wobble in turn 11, I caught him up.
So if there's a safety car now, it's going to make this very awkward. Please do it now.
Ted Kravitz, down to you.
If he starts to do it, Crofty, just jump in. Andrea Stella, the team boss of McLaren, telling Will Joseph, Lando's engineer, more and more things to tell Lando Norris. I'm just wondering what Lando's trying to prove here. Is he trying to prove that without Oscar gaining the lead at the start, he would have won the race? Is he trying to prove that he's not too nice?
Ted, he is trying to prove that he is a team player.
He's slow.
Eventually.
He's slow now, but he's letting it happen.
3 laps to go. Oscar Piastri can see Lando Norris going very slowly down the straight. Oscar Piastri takes the lead of this race, and that was the right thing to do. Well done, eventually, Lando Norris.
Yeah, you don't need to say anything.
Well, Lando can try and keep in DRS range here, have a go back at him yet, but he really did get out of it down the pit straight. That is the moment he followed. It was a team order, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was not an instruction, it was not a request, it was an order.
Now, he's put his team through it, but he's eventually done the right thing. The thing is, Martin, he is now still within DRS range.
Yeah.
So what's the orders? Is he allowed to fight back?
Yeah, he probably needed to keep a little bit closer down the pit straight to give himself a chance in these last couple of laps.
76 points, the championship lead will be at the end of this race, unless Max Verstappen is given a penalty by the stewards, and it could be a lot closer. Out on track, the two McLarens within a second of each other here, and we've got 2 laps to go as they cross the line once more. And is Lando Norris about to give us one more twist and turn in a dramatic Hungarian Grand Prix? His teammate Oscar Piastri leads this race. He has been second in Qatar and in Monaco last year, and in Monaco and Austria this year. He's looking at a first Grand Prix victory, but Lando Norris is going to make him fight and sweat for it right to the checkered flag.
Yeah, if Lando wanted to be really cheeky, he should have just eased off, let it happen and stay very close to him. But yeah, nervous times for McLaren. And they're coming up to the back of Alonso, Stroll and Tsunoda. They should be all right.
There are people who will feel that Lando Norris should win this race. There are people who feel Oscar Piastri should win this race. There is no doubt that McLaren have bounced back from Silverstone with a very impressive 1-2 here at the Hungaro ring. But they'll want to sit down and discuss how it is that in the most dominant car, they cause themselves quite a kerfuffle on the way to the checkered flag.
And now Lando's in the turbulent air. He's lost a couple of tenths through the middle sector of the lap. But what formation flying. What a race for McLaren.
One more lap to go as they cross the line for the last time, and this is Lando Norris's last real attempt to try and get near to Oscar Piastri, but he's outside the DRS range, so that isn't going to happen. In third, Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc not getting near him. Max Verstappen currently in fifth, holding off Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez recovering from his qualifying crash yesterday and starting 16th on the grid to currently ride in 7th. George Russell is chasing Sergio Perez, but not by enough, you would imagine, to deny that 7th place for Perez. Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, currently on course to score the last points in this, although Stroll might fancy that he can get past Yuki Tsunoda before they reach the checkered flag. We've had one retirement, Pierre Gasly, we've had this man lead the race at the start. Then it all swapped around at the pit stops. McLaren gave Lando Norris the chance to clear Lewis Hamilton in third and the better strategy for the second pit stop, and then kept their fingers crossed that Lando Norris would obey the team orders to let Oscar past. And Oscar did get past, and Oscar Piastri now has 2 more corners to go. to do something that he dreamed of as a young child growing up in Melbourne, and in his second season in Formula One has finally come to pass. It is Oscar Piastri, Grand Prix winner in Hungary, and for the first time takes the checkered flag and will stand on the top step of a Grand Prix podium. It's a McLaren 1-2 as we start the second half of the season. They're the big chasers to Red Bull. It's Lewis Hamilton for third and a 200th career podium in Formula One. And behind them, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, who will go and see the stewards and answer the charges of causing a collision, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Lance Stroll. McLaren, a 1-2 for the first time since 2021. It looks a very hard-fought 1-2 from the outside in a car that dominated all weekend.
Yeah, our 7th different winner of this season so far. Oscar Piastri's been threatening to do this for a good while now, hasn't he? It was a great drive. It was pulled down into the first corner to take the lead. The team have played a blind. I can understand why Norris thinks that, hey, I think I would have won this anyway, so.
Well done, Oscar, well done. Checkered flag. Well done, buddy. Really good.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks for the coordination. Yeah, sorry. I made the swap a little bit more painful than it needed to be, but yeah, thank you, appreciate that. Well done, maximum points. Really good weekend. First F1 win. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks.
But had he have got the service first, I think he would have, you know, he'd have been out front on the right piece of tarmac with Oscar Piastri. So we can if and but all day long on that. It's a tremendous result for the team on one that's been on its way.
Well done, good one, two good load of points. Congrats, team. Well deserved. As we said this morning, mate, many more opportunities.
Get the feeling that whatever was decided at the team briefing this morning eventually played out. And that was whoever's leading after turn one or the first pit stops would go on and keep ahead of his teammate, but there was quite a lot in between.
Verstappen ended up 5th, didn't he?
Yeah.
Between the two Ferraris, of course, Leclerc passed him, yeah. Leclerc passed him a little bit earlier on when he was squabbling with Lewis Hamilton, so...
I'm expecting that Max Verstappen might get a penalty for
might get a 5-second.
7 feet. Back up the hill. Man. It wasn't that hard a putt. Another drop shot here on the 11th.
You're going to see bogeys through this stretch, but Lowry trying to stay close to the top. Now 3 back. Back to Rom.
Trying to make something happen. The last 3 holes.
He's going to need to make this and birdie the last 2, and that one slides on the high side.
Rom running out of real estate.
Up at 9, here's Horschel.
Aggressive putt. He's got all his putts to the hole, it seems like, with some pace.
A couple of drop shots, 3 and 8. He one under on the front if he can make that one. Schauffele to get to the top.
Did he learn from Justin? That's the subtleness of these greens. That one moves a little right in the middle of the putt. He can't believe it.
Steady. This pair, the steadiest of all the contenders. Not a single bogey between Rose and Schauffele. Rose trying to stay bogey free. Xander working on a 200 score. Knows, obviously, you just hang around. You hang around and you take your opportunities. To 9.
With Horschel rehearsing the step in the background, Lawrence to take the lead.
There's that rocking shoulders motion that Luke talked about. He's got that left hand low with those both his index fingers down the side of the shaft. He feels like that keeps stability in the face. There's a lot of feel in the tips of those index fingers. Looking up at one of the big jets.
And another great look at that second.
Yeah. I remember seeing Jack Nicklaus do that, his second shot into the 17th green back in 1970. in the playoff against Tony Jacklin. That's a cool shot to see.
Tristan Lawrence, a 27-year-old South African, 98 in the world rankings, his 6th major of his career. And here he is leading with 9 holes to go. Horsch will try to stay within 2 and does just that.
They're going into some speed, aren't they, Mike? You know, he missed it on 8, but it was aggressive.
So Lawrence did what John Rahm did, out in 32. That's why he's jumped alone atop the leaderboard as he goes to play. Consequential 9 holes for him. 10.
Putt for par for Rose.
Just has to move a little left to right.
Justin Rose stays bogey free. 1 back of Lawrence, the sole leader at the Open.
Where are you this time?
I'm a little off the green.
Okay, here's what you're gonna do.
Control. It's often out of your reach. Every game is full of unexpected twists and turns. You have the lows, the injuries, the pressure, and the incredible highs, the wins. Every day, a new opportunity. Life is rarely a straight line. We can help wherever it takes you.
It moves you in more ways than one. The first ever 409 horsepower Genesis GV80 Coupe.
This looks like an actual farm.
It looks cute on the app.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, when other vacation rentals aren't what they're cracked up to be, try one where you know what you'll get.
Big fan of the PXG fitting. The fitting process here is fantastic.
Everybody's really helpful with a lot of knowledge.
We're just going to make the head a little bit lighter. It's going to help you come through it and get square.
Really get your numbers in.
I got about 10 more yards. Dispersion was way less.
They tweaked that club so it fit me perfectly.
I'm going to move you to this shaft. It's a little bit heavier.
Overall, improve your game. This is the place to go to.
Awesome swing there.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
From farmers to athletes, here's to those working hard every day to change the way the game is played. Vital Farms, raising the standards.
You don't have to wait until retirement to start enjoying your plans. With Pacific Life, imagine your future with confidence. For more than 150 years, we've kept our promise to financially protect and provide, so you can look forward to exploring your family's heritage with the ones you love. Talk to a financial professional about life insurance and retirement solutions with Pacific Life.
Just saw Lawrence find the first cut here at the 10th. The toughest fairway to hit here is Horschel now is off over the dune.
Good swing by Billy. So difficult because of all the humps and bumps in this fairway. Propels it left, propels it right, but that one of very few to hit this fairway in regulation.
Up ahead, Scotty Scheffler at the 11th. Try to avoid the trouble on the right. You can get over there, Kurt, to the left and find even more issues.
Yeah, Scheffler.
Yeah, good target. I can see the peak of some pine trees. Can you see that there over? No, I can't really see it. Yeah, you can just go over the edge of this limb. Basically, just right at the tallest parts of that bush.
Charlie Moran.
The right edge of the tall parts where the flag is.
With the RNA Rules Committee can help explain. You see that crane coming down?
Yes, the crane is coming down. It is not directly in a line between him and the hole, therefore he doesn't have TIO relief. But in order to be fair, we can move the tower down. That's his line of play.
It's movable, not immovable, so it's not temporary movable obstruction. Kurt's second shot.
He actually did get TIO relief right there because of the tower, and so now able to get it up very close, almost on the green because of that.
He did get it on the green, Kurt, and I was going to say that would have been a really hard shot to draw into that wind from the rough.
18th hole.
And what a scene this is, and what a feeling this must be for one of the 4 amateurs to make the cut. And Callum Scott overcome with emotion. A. Scott himself from Nairn, Scotland. He's got his mother.